Welcome to today's deep dive. We're going to be tackling a pretty ambitious topic, I think.
Oh, yeah.
It's a timeline charting humanity's mastery of energy.
Okay.
So really, it's kind of like this concept that the history of civilization, it's the story of energy control.
That's a really interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, and the cool thing about this timeline is that it goes all the way from, prehistory to far future speculation.
Oh, wow.
We're talking, fire to like black hole energy extraction.
Okay, so like the full
Yeah.
that sweep of history.
So I think it's going to be pretty fascinating. And what I think is really cool is that this timeline includes things that you might not typically associate with energy.
So what kind of things are we talking about?
Well, I mean, like the printing press,
Right.
even writing itself,
Ah.
the compass, all these things can be seen through this framework of manipulating and controlling energy.
I'm intrigued. Let's get started. Where does this grand energy saga begin?
Well, like most good stories, ours starts with fire.
Of course. Fire.
Yeah, about 1 million years ago, our ancestors figured out how to not only use fire, but to actually control it.
Yeah, I mean, controlling fire is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just about staying warm or seeing in the dark.
Yeah, it seems basic now.
Right. But back then it was transformative.
Like, how so?
Imagine for the first time you can cook food. Suddenly you have access to more nutrients. Your digestion improves. You know what that leads to? It leads to brain development. It's actually not a coincidence that this whole fire thing...
It all comes together.
Yeah, this whole fire thing coincides with when we started to differentiate ourselves from other primates.
Oh, wow. So fire wasn't just about survival. It was like a catalyst for human evolution.
Exactly. And it brought people together,
Yeah.
literally, around the hearth.
Mm-hmm.
Community storytelling, passing down knowledge. It was like the original social network, fueled by fire.
That's a really cool way to think about it. So we go from this first spark, and humans never stop innovating.
Right.
Always finding new ways to manipulate energy
Right.
to their advantage. So what comes next?
Okay, so as humans started to settle and cultivate land, we see the emergence of tools that harness mechanical energy. Think about the wheel.
Okay, the wheel.
Yeah, around 3,500 BCE.
3,500 BCE.
Yeah, it revolutionized transport and trade,
Mm-hmm.
by reducing friction.
It's funny how something so simple can be such a massive leap forward in terms of optimizing energy, right?
Oh, absolutely. And then there's the plow.
Oh, yeah, the plow.
Yeah, around 2,500 BCE.
Okay.
This allowed for way more efficient farming. Harnessing animal power meant humans could cultivate larger areas of land and produce more food. So it's a great example of how we started to leverage external sources of energy to boost our own capabilities.
So instead of just, brute force, it's like humans are figuring out how to work smarter, not harder, right?
Exactly. And it's not always about physical energy either.
What do you mean?
Well, around the same time, we see the development of writing.
Writing?
Now, you might not think of writing as an energy thing,
Yeah, I don't know about that.
but think about it this way. Writing is basically storing information. And information, in a way, is a form of stored energy, right? Because it allows us to learn from past mistakes to build on existing knowledge.
So we don't repeat the same mistakes and waste energy.
Exactly. It's like a blueprint for energy efficiency that you can pass down through generations,
It's amazing how interconnected all this is.
isn't it?
So we've got fire, we've got the wheel, the plow, even writing,
Mhm.
all these things contributing to this early stage of human energy manipulation. So what happens next on this timeline?
Well, humans start venturing beyond their immediate surroundings, exploring new territories and resources. And this leads to the development of the sail around 2000 BCE.
Okay, the sail. So we go from controlling fire on land to literally riding the waves of energy on the sea.
Yeah, pretty much. And this period also sees things like aqueducts and water wheels. This shows our growing understanding of hydropower, learning to divert rivers, creating channels, and using the flow of water to power mills, irrigate crops, and even supply cities.
It's like we're becoming masters of our environment, figuring out how to leverage these natural forces like wind and water to do the heavy lifting for us.
Exactly. And this mastery lays the groundwork for this huge explosion of scientific discovery that will change how we view the world and where we fit in.
That sounds like a perfect segue to part 2 as our deep dive. But before we go, I'm curious. I mean, this timeline seems to suggest that every invention, every technological leap forward can be seen as us trying to master energy. I mean, do you think that's a fair assessment?
I think it's a really fascinating perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think it holds true for a good chunk of human history. It seems like that desire to understand and control energy, it's a fundamental driver for us.
Yeah.
It pushes our creativity and ingenuity. And as we'll see in the next part, this quest for energy mastery really accelerates as we move into scientific revolution and beyond.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Welcome back to our deep dive into humanity's energy mastery. Last time we saw how early humans went from controlling fire to harnessing wind and water,
Yeah, it was amazing.
setting the stage for some really remarkable breakthroughs.
I'm ready for more.
All right. Well, we're about to enter a period where scientific discoveries really start to snowball.
Okay.
And that's largely because of this new ability to manipulate light and energy
Yeah.
in ways that no one had even imagined before.
Intriguing. Tell me more.
Okay, well, think about glass and optics. Around 100 CE,
Glass.
yeah, this led to the creation of lenses.
Oh, lenses.
Yeah, eventually giving us eyeglasses, microscopes, telescopes.
Right, right.
But these weren't just tools for seeing. They were tools for focusing and manipulating energy,
Right.
opening up new worlds literally and figuratively.
So from controlling energy on a large scale with like windmills and stuff,
Right.
we start to zoom in on the very small
Yes.
and the incredibly vast.
Exactly. For example, the microscope
Okay.
allows us to peer into this intricate world of cells and microorganisms,
Oh, wow.
leading to breakthroughs in biology, medicine, germ theory.
Huge. Huge.
And suddenly we can see this unseen world, understand the energy interactions happening at like a microscopic level,
Right.
and even start to manipulate them for our benefit.
That's amazing. But at the same time, we also have the telescope,
Yes.
which lets us look outwards to the stars.
Exactly. Imagine the impact of that. For the first time, we could see these celestial bodies in incredible detail, track their movements, and start to unravel the mysteries of the universe.
Yeah.
And this wasn't just about satisfying our curiosity.
Right.
It had very practical implications.
For sure, like navigation.
Exactly. And timekeeping. Really important stuff.
So both the microscope and the telescope, even though they seem really different,
Right.
they're actually driven by the same underlying principle, the
Yeah.
ability to manipulate light energy to expand our understanding of the world around us.
That's a brilliant observation. It really highlights how seemingly different inventions can be connected through this lens of energy mastery.
Yes.
And speaking of connections, around the same time we have the invention of the compass.
Okay, the company.
Yeah. Utilizing magnetic energy for navigation. This simple tool enabled us to traverse the globe with much greater accuracy and efficiency, fostering trade exploration and the exchange of knowledge.
It's like each of these inventions is like a building block,
Yeah.
and together they're creating a foundation for something much bigger.
Yeah, for sure.
So what happens next on this energy journey of ours?
Well, think about the invention of the printing press in 1440.
The printing press?
Yeah.
Okay.
Might seem like a leap from telescopes and compasses,
A little bit.
but it's all about energy efficiency. Before the printing press, knowledge was painstakingly copied by hand, so time-consuming,
Right.
and limited the spread of information.
But with the printing press, knowledge could be reproduced and distributed on a massive scale. It's like unlocking this new level of energy efficiency for sharing and preserving information.
Precisely. The printing press democratized knowledge, accelerated the pace of scientific advancement, and ultimately paved the way for a more energy-efficient society. And let's not forget about gunpowder, which emerged between the 9th and 15th centuries. This discovery allowed us to harness the energy stored within chemical compounds for explosive power.
Yeah, gunpowder certainly had a profound impact on warfare, but it also revolutionized mining and construction.
Absolutely. Gunpowder represents this turning point in our ability to manipulate and release energy in a concentrated form, and as you pointed out, it had both destructive and constructive applications. It's a good reminder that with every advancement in energy mastery comes a responsibility to use that power wisely.
It's a sobering thought. So we're seeing this steady progression from controlling fire to harnessing wind and water, manipulating light and magnetism, and now even understanding and releasing chemical energy.
Right.
What happens next in this incredible saga?
Well, the next chapter is marked by breakthroughs in our understanding of fundamental forces.
Okay, fundamental forces.
Think about those early experiments with static electricity, which laid the groundwork for our modern understanding of electromagnetism.
Oh.
And then there's Sir Isaac Newton
Oh, Newton.
and
Yeah.
his groundbreaking discovery of gravity in 1687.
Newton's work was revolutionary. It's like we finally had this mathematical framework for understanding these large-scale energy interactions that govern the universe.
Exactly. And this deeper understanding of the laws of physics led to the formal discovery of electricity in the 1700s. Thanks to the work of scientists like Benjamin Franklin and Alessandro Volta, we finally recognized electricity as a fundamental force of nature, capable of being harnessed and controlled.
And this paved the way for some truly world-changing inventions, right?
Absolutely. Think about the steam engine.
Mm.
Developed in 1712 and refined in 1769, it was the first machine capable of converting heat energy into mechanical motion.
Huge.
This wasn't just another invention. This was a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
It powered factories, trains, ships, and launched us headfirst into the Industrial Revolution.
It's incredible how this one
I
invention,
know, right?
based on this seemingly simple principle, completely transformed society.
But it didn't stop there, did it?
Yeah.
The innovations just kept coming.
Oh, they did. This era was a hotbed of innovation. We saw the first hot air balloon take flight in 1783, allowing humans to experience controlled buoyancy and rise above the ground for the first time. And then there's the electric battery, invented in 1800 by Alessandro Volta, which gave us the first true portable power source.
I can't even imagine a world without batteries now.
Right.
They power everything. And speaking of power, wasn't this also the time of the telegraph?
Yes. In 1837, Samuel Morse invented the telegraph, demonstrating the incredible power of electrical signals for long-distance communication. This was a game changer for information transfer, connecting people across continents in a way that was previously unimaginable.
So from fire to the steam engine,
Yeah.
from batteries to the telegraph, it seems like humanity is on this unstoppable trajectory of innovation, constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible with energy. But I have a feeling the 20th century is going to be a whole other
Oh,
story.
I have no idea. Really?
Buckle up, because the 20th century is where things get truly electrifying.
Okay, I'm ready.
We'll delve into that in the final part of our deep dive, where we explore the incredible advancements that have shaped our modern world and glimpse into the mind-boggling possibilities of the future.
Okay, so we're back for the final part of our energy mastery deep dive, and my brain is honestly buzzing a little bit.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
It is. We went from fire to the telegraph,
Sorry.
covered so much ground, but I have a feeling the 20th century is where things really took off.
The 20th century saw an explosion of advancements, but not just in raw power. We started manipulating energy with a finesse and precision that would have blown people's minds just a few decades earlier.
So it wasn't just bigger and better, it was smarter and more efficient.
Exactly.
So what were some of those big turning points?
Well, think about the light bulb, which Thomas Edison perfected in 1879. It's so simple now, right? But it totally changed how we lived and worked.
I guess I never really thought about it like that.
Yeah, suddenly, the night wasn't a barrier to productivity. We could light up our homes, work later, and literally reshape the world with light.
It's easy to overlook the impact of something we see every day. You're right, the light bulb was revolutionary. And then, of course, there's the internal combustion engine, which emerged around 1885.
Yeah, the internal combustion engine, that was huge for transportation. It powered the first cars and airplanes, giving us this unprecedented freedom of movement.
Right. We could go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it also kind of highlights the two sides of our relationship with energy, you know?
What do you mean?
Well, the internal combustion engine brought about all these incredible advancements,
Yeah.
but it also set the stage for a lot of the environmental challenges we face today.
It's true. Progress isn't always a straight line. There are definitely trade-offs and unintended consequences. But speaking of connections, this period also saw the invention of the telephone, right?
Oh, yeah. Alexander Graham Bell's telephone in 1876. It revolutionized how we communicate. We could suddenly transmit sound as electrical signals and break down those geographical barriers, having real-time conversations across huge distances. It's a great example of how manipulating energy can actually bring people closer.
It's hard to imagine a world without instant communication now. But we weren't just focused on individual inventions, we also started building the infrastructure for large-scale energy distribution.
Oh, absolutely. Think about AC power. Nikola Tesla and George Westinghouse were big proponents of that in the late 19th century. Alternating current made it possible to send electricity over long distances efficiently,
Right.
which paved the way for the power grids that fuel our modern world.
So we're not just manipulating energy, we're building vast networks to harness it and distribute it,
Right.
powering entire cities and industries. It's amazing when you think about it.
Yeah.
What about the early 20th century? What advancements stand out to you?
We had the airplane. First successful flight was in 1903. Huge moment. It showed that we had mastered aerodynamics and could actually defy gravity. And then just a few years later, in 1906, we see radio waves, which would become the foundation for radio, television, Wi-Fi, you name it, all forms of wireless communication.
It's incredible. We take wireless communication for granted now.
I know.
But back then, it must have seemed like pure magic. And speaking of magic, The television,
Hmm.
invented in 1927, it brought moving pictures right into our homes.
Yeah, the television was revolutionary. It allowed us to manipulate visual energy, using electrons to literally paint moving images on a screen.
So cool.
It shows our growing understanding of how energy can be used to create, transmit, and even experience information. But then, of course, we enter this period with incredible promise and terrifying potential, the nuclear age.
It's a complicated part of our energy journey, right? It's splitting the atom unleashed this power unlike anything we'd ever seen,
Yeah, first.
giving us the ability to both generate electricity and create weapons of unimaginable destruction.
It's a big reminder that every time we take a technological leap forward,
Right.
we also have to consider the ethics. The nuclear age really forced us to confront this huge responsibility that comes with having so much power. But, despite the risks, our quest to master energy continued.
Mhm.
And in the aftermath of World War II, we see the invention of the transistor in 1947.
The transistor,
Yeah.
this tiny little thing that revolutionized electronics
Right.
and led to the computer age.
Exactly. The transistor miniaturized energy manipulation. It allowed us to build these smaller, more powerful, more efficient devices.
And it all started with controlling the flow of electrons.
Right.
It's the foundation of modern computing, really.
It is.
It's mind-boggling to think how something so small could change the world in such a big way. But the innovation didn't stop there, did it? What other advancements were happening in this post-war era?
Well, you've got the microwave oven becoming popular in the 1970s. It seems so ordinary now.
Yeah, just a kitchen appliance.
But it's actually a marvel of energy manipulation, using electromagnetic waves to excite water molecules and cooking food super fast. And then there's the computer, of course, which emerged in the 1950s, and it's just been evolving at an insane rate ever since.
It's hard to overstate the impact computers have had on our lives. It's changed how we work, communicate, learn, and even think.
It's true.
And it's all powered by energy.
Mm.
The flow of electrons, the manipulation of data, the transmission of information across these vast networks. And then with the launch of Sputnik in 1957 and the Apollo moon landing in 1969, we entered the space age,
Right.
showing that we could actually harness energy to escape Earth's gravity and explore the cosmos. It's a testament to human ingenuity and our endless curiosity.
It really is.
From fire to the moon, what a journey. It seems like things really accelerated in the latter half of the 20th century.
Oh, absolutely. The pace of innovation was incredible. The internet was born in 1983, creating this global network for exchanging information, essentially a digital energy grid for the whole planet.
Mm.
Then came fiber optic communication in the 1990s, allowing for near instantaneous data transfer using pulses of light. And with GPS and satellite technology, we started tapping into energy from space to make our lives better here on Earth.
It's amazing how everything has become so interconnected. And that brings us to the 21st century, where the lines between energy and information are getting really blurry. What are the big advancements shaping our world now and in the future?
Well, quantum mechanics is going from theory to practical applications. Lasers, quantum cryptography, and energy control at the subatomic level.
Mm.
We're seeing quantum computing emerge.
Quantum computing. It sounds like something straight out of Star Trek.
I know it does, but it's becoming real. Quantum computers leverage the strangeness of quantum mechanics to do calculations that would be impossible for regular computers.
So it's like a whole new level of energy manipulation.
It is. It opens up possibilities that are hard to wrap your head around. And then there are neural interfaces which let us connect our brains directly to computers.
Neural interfaces sound fascinating and a little creepy at the same time.
Yeah.
What are the implications of that technology?
Well, they could revolutionize how we interact with technology,
Yeah.
enhancing our cognitive abilities, offering new ways to communicate,
Oh.
even blurring the line between human and artificial intelligence. It's a field with a lot of potential, but also ethical concerns.
So it seems like we're entering this new era of energy mastery, where the lines between physical energy, information, and even consciousness are becoming less clear.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
What do you think the future holds for humanity's energy journey?
That's the big question, isn't it? The timeline we've been talking about suggests some pretty incredible possibilities. Space-based solar power could give us clean energy for the whole planet. Fusion energy, harnessing the power of the stars, could solve our energy needs for millennia. AI-controlled energy grids could make distribution incredibly efficient. And who knows, maybe one day we'll figure out space-time manipulation.
It's a space-time manipulation,
Right.
like warp drives, wormholes, time travel.
Yeah, exactly. Sounds like science fiction, right?
It does.
But as we've seen throughout history, what seems impossible one day can become reality the next. Humans have this drive to explore, to innovate, to push the limits of what's possible.
Is it we do?
And as long as we use that power responsibly and ethically, who knows what amazing things we'll achieve.
It's both exciting and a little scary to think about. So if there's one thing our listeners should take away from this deep dive, what would it be?
I think it's this. Humanity's story is all about our quest to master energy. From that first spark of fire to the possibility of manipulating space-time, we've always been driven by this desire to understand, control, and harness energy in every form it takes. And as we continue to uncover the secrets of the universe, one thing is certain. Our energy journey has just begun.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thanks for taking us on this incredible journey through time. It's given me a lot to think about. And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring.